Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 worst Dvořák recordings. I mean, there's something obscene about bad Dvořák, isn't there? I mean, it's kind of like domestic violence or child abuse or something. It's something that just is morally odious. Dvořák is such a good guy. His music is so lovely, so giving, so mellifluous that to do it badly, I mean, it ought to be a crime. It really should be. But, this is only the arts, so, nobody cares. Anyway, there is some really dreadful Dvořák out there, however. And here are the 5 worst Dvořák recordings. First, the New World Symphony with Leonard Bernstein and the Israel Philharmonic on Deutsche Grammophon. Now, Bernstein in his late phase could be quite perverse, and sometimes that perversity evidenced itself in excruciatingly slow tempos. Witness the Largo of this performance, which goes on forever. It's obscene. It's ridiculous. It really is. But on top of it all, you've got some really scruffy playing and lousy recorded sound, boxy, crappy live sonics. Sometimes Bernstein's live sonics were splendid. Sometimes they were dreadful. Well, this is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. A terrible New World Symphony all around. Misconceived, self-indulgent, all of the things that Bernstein was accused of being, when often he really wasn't. It's just a disaster. Probably his worst late recording. I don't know, there's La Bohème too, but there are a few of them. Then we've got Symphonies 7 and 8 with, Orozco-Estrada, with the Houston Symphony on PentaTone. This is the kind of Dvořák that actually makes me angry. It's unnecessary Dvořák. It's contemptuous Dvořák. It's like, let's do Dvořák because if we do something more serious like Beethoven and Brahms, no one's going to give us any attention and we have to do something. So let's haul out Dvořák because it's easy and it's pretty and it won't take much effort and it doesn't put any particular strain on anyone. Well, that's what these performances sound like. They are routine and uninteresting and tired and just absolutely pointless. And, pointless is bad. I think we should all agree on that pointless is not a good thing. And those are recent. And I always look forward to performances of these symphonies. I really do, because they are so beautiful and they're, infinitely giving in their possibilities interpretively. And so when you hear something that's just this ordinary and routine and uninteresting, it's aggravating, terribly aggravating. Then we've got some chamber music. Bad chamber music, as I've said these days, is hard to come by because chamber music ensembles are so good. I mean, they really are. And you may like performances better than others, but the quality of the playing is usually exceptionally high. Well, there is a 4-disc set of Dvořák chamber music played by the Lindsays. I just love it. Why is it these English and American groups, both of them? It's like Kanye West or whatever his name is. His name is now just Yee. I mean, the Lindsays. It was the Lindsay Quartet. That's what they are. Everybody reduces everything to one name. It's like soccer players. It's because it makes you think that, the consumers of whatever these people produce are so stupid. That was our Finster moment. She has to do it. Anyway, I was in the middle of a rant. Right, Finster? Yoo-hoo. I was ranting. There she is. Can I finish my rant now? Is that okay with you? Yeah? Are you all right? Okay. So they make you think that the people are so stupid that, they can't handle multisyllabic names or things that have 2 words. And anyway, that was my rant. Back to Finster. But anyway, we were talking about Dvořák and the worst Dvořák recordings. So the Lindsays started out with a couple of nice discs, actually, where they had like the bagatelles for string trio and harmonium, which are just fabulous, and some other sort of more interesting chamber music stuff. But when they got to the quartets alone, later on in their series, it's 4 discs, the American Quartet, the American Quintet, and the last 2 quartets, all hell broke loose. I mean, they just became mannered and irritating and intonationally wayward. Their first violinist, Peter Cropper, was one of those guys who just started to go kind of nuts. I'm not sure what happened. I'm really not. But in any case, it made for some really unpleasant Dvořák chamber music, which is kind of a miracle because I've seen very little bad Dvořák chamber music. So part of that ASV set, the 4 CD set, is just dreadful. And what's kind of fascinating is that you can hear the quartet slowly disintegrate as they go on, as they become more mature. It was eventually, I think they stopped playing entirely. They matured themselves out of business. But whatever happened, there's some just really second-rate Dvořák, third-rate Dvořák. And that's an achievement of sorts. Oh, speaking of achievements of sorts, talk about totally insane. Remember how awful it was to hear all those Bruckner symphonies played on the organ? Because Bruckner was an organist. Dvořák was an organist, too. He played organ in church regularly. And some strange person and a dreadful organist with the last name of Szathmáry, or Szathmáry, he's Hungarian, decided to do the New World Symphony in an organ transcription. It was the most awful organ transcription. I can't say that because there's so many awful organ transcriptions, but this was a really, really bad one. And it was recorded on Bis, and it's just unlistenable. I mean, it is the ultimate party record. It is dire. My God, it's unrecognizable. The scherzo. Oh, the finale. All of it. You just can't imagine anything that sounds more inappropriate. And oh, God, I just can't. Words fail me. You have to listen to some of it yourself. You will be totally dazzled, I guarantee it. And last but not least, absolutely one of the worst Dvořák records I've ever heard in my life, the Slavonic Dances with Lauren Maazel and the Berlin Philharmonic on Warner. Now, I mean, how do you wreck the Slavonic Dances? I mean, what is there to wreck? Fabulous tunes, scintillating orchestration, pulsating rhythms. Well, yes, you can play it all with completely mechanical coldness and lack of verve or warmth, or I have never heard a performance like this. It sounds like they're counting while they're playing. Da 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 da. You want me to go on? That's Lauren Maazel and the Berlin Philharmonic doing the Slavonic Dances. It is just atrocious. Atrocious. It's wrong in every possible way it can be wrong. It's not that it's sluggish. It's a function of rhythm and character and any feeling for the emotion, the expression, the joy, the nostalgia, there's nothing there. It's really, really incredible. So there you have it, the 5 worst Dvořák recordings. I'm sure you've got some of your own, which I would be delighted to encounter. And by the way, we've done about 119, well, this will be 120, I think, of these 5 best and worst videos. That's a lot. That's quite a legacy of recordings and your choices for recordings and a library of things for, newbies and people who don't know the works to dig into and find consensus and recommendations. I think you guys have done a sensational job. So thank you so much. I mean, we're having so much fun doing this. But there you go. So let me have your 5 worst Dvořák recordings, and we'll see how the buzzards come home to roost. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.